Look, I think that's roughly right. I think it's very good that the Treasurer now is flagging the economic costs of the shutdown and the need to slowly unwind these restrictions. I think in hindsight, the federal government is going to come to look very wise actually out of this. I know that the state premiers were pushing for much tougher and longer restrictions earlier on in the process, like those European-style lockdowns that the Treasurer is going to talk about today, which of course are a lot more economically damaging. And I think the government's been proved right to be a little bit more cautious in going the whole way. The only kind of cavil or quibble I have is that I think it's time now to maybe think about curbing some of the costs of the stimulus that was imposed in March. I mean, for instance, the JobKeeper program, of course, it was, it seemed very wise back in March, but I think now with more optimistic news that we're going to be reopening sooner, maybe the full 6-month period, which of course, as you know, costs $130 billion of all borrowed money, is maybe a little bit over the top.
Yeah, interesting that you say that, because Josh Frydenberg has said that it will remain in place until November, essentially. But is there an argument on the other side of what you just put forward in terms of this will give, even if businesses do start to get back into full tilt in the next couple of months, doesn't that stimulus give them that transition period, a bit of breathing room? Because even though the government has said, this is a hibernation period, it's not going to be a case of just restarting business and it being, back on track on day one, is it?
Yeah, look, I think that's certainly right. And I'm certainly not suggesting, to radically scale it back. But, perhaps maybe in 2 months' time, businesses could be forced to show again to the tax office that their revenue was 30% down on the same month last year. And if it wasn't 30% down, then they could lose some or all of those JobKeeper payments. I mean, of course, it's a trade-off here. I also think that that second $750, which is slated for July for Social Security recipients, do we really need that? That's like $5 billion. The shops weren't even open when the first payment was made, so it was very hard, to use it to spend to stimulate the economy anyway. So I think that we could, tweak some of the package. But of course, $5 billion when you're talking about $215 billion, it's almost like why bother? Just spend it all.
That's exactly right. Now, I read an interesting stat earlier this week, is that actually insolvencies are down 40% on last year. This goes back to the government support that we've been talking about for now months. Is it a case that this government support is just keeping businesses afloat for now, but it is going to get a lot worse in perhaps 12 months to come because they've lost all this revenue in the last couple of months, and essentially what it will mean is that many businesses can't afford to just break even for the next couple of months, so the bad ones will go bust.
Yeah, look, those figures are very interesting. I haven't seen them, but look, this is the million-dollar question right now. Is this going to be a V or a U-shaped recovery, if you like? Sorry to use the cliches, but look, I mean, I'm on the optimistic side. I do think that if we can get the major restrictions lifted in the next couple of weeks, then I don't think the economic damage is going to be as bad as some of the scenarios that have been bandied around. And let's hope that is the case, because that's going to save us all a lot of money, and obviously there'll be a lot more businesses at the other end. I mean, of course, the more prudently managed businesses, should be able to survive a 6-week pause in revenue, you'd think. But look, this is a great unknown. As the Treasury Secretary said just a week or two ago, we've never had a period like this, so we don't have any historical period to compare it with.